Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up and just don't feel like yourself? You sit up in bed, rub your eyes, and realize your body feels heavier than usual. Your joints are stiff, your energy feels drained. It's not just age catching up to you. It feels like something's quietly chipping away at your strength every single day. You might not see it right away. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't shout. It creeps in silently, in your habits, your routines, and in the things you've been told are just part of getting older. But I want to challenge that idea. What if I told you there's one silent habit, just one, that could be making you physically and mentally weaker every single day, and that you can stop it, starting today? Now, I'm not talking about something dramatic or overwhelming. This isn't about running marathons or changing everything overnight. It's about awareness. It's about reclaiming control over your health, your energy, and your vitality, one small step at a time. And the first step, it's right here, in this conversation we're having right now. You see, after 60, everything changes. And I mean everything. The way your body processes food, how your muscles repair, the quality of your sleep, and even how deeply you breathe. But here's the good news. Change doesn't mean decline. It means you've entered a stage where the right choices make an even bigger impact than they did before. And that's why we need to talk about something simple, but often ignored: routine inactivity. Yes, just sitting too much. It sounds harmless, doesn't it? You sit after breakfast, sit while watching TV, sit during your phone calls, maybe rest a little after lunch. But over time, the more you sit, the weaker your muscles become, the slower your circulation gets, and the less your body is encouraged to stay strong. Inactivity is sneaky. It doesn't make noise. It doesn't cause a scene. It just quietly weakens your strength, day by day, week by week, until one day you realize your legs don't feel as stable. Your balance feels off. Your back hurts after standing for too long. And it's not because of some major event. It's because of that one thing you did too often without thinking. You stayed still. Now, I'm not saying you should never rest. Rest is important, but stillness without movement, that's where the trouble begins. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you stretched your body first thing in the morning? Just a slow, gentle stretch. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could be as simple as reaching your arms over your head, rotating your ankles, or gently rolling your shoulders. These movements tell your body, I'm awake, I'm here, I'm still strong. Because here's the truth, movement creates energy. You don't wait for energy to move. You move to create energy. And that brings us to the first key habit. Daily morning movement, not exercise, not a workout, just movement. As soon as you wake up, before you even leave the bedroom, take 2 or 3 minutes to stretch your body. Start at your toes and work your way up. Move your ankles, your knees, your hips. Roll your neck slowly. Reach for the ceiling. Then bring your arms back down. This gentle rhythm wakes up your muscles and your circulation, and sets the tone for your entire day. You might be thinking, is that really enough to make a difference? The answer is yes. You don't need to do big things. You need to do consistent things. Think of it like watering a plant. You don't flood it once a month. You water it a little every day. The second habit is just as powerful: hydration. I know you've heard this one before, but hydration after 60 is not optional. It's essential. Most people wake up dehydrated and don't even know it. Overnight, your body loses moisture through breathing and sweat. And when you wake up and head straight to coffee, you're actually dehydrating yourself further. Start your morning with a full glass of water. Plain water, not flavored, not soda, just water. Drink it slowly. Feel it move through your system. That water helps jumpstart your digestion, clear toxins from your kidneys, and awaken your cells. Think of it as fueling your internal engine before you even step outside. It may seem like a small act, but it's a signal to your body, we're in this together, and I'm taking care of you. Now let's talk about one more quiet strength stealer, one that most people ignore: lack of movement after meals. After eating, most people sit down. They watch a little TV, they read, they let their food settle. But do you know what your body actually needs most after a meal? A little movement. Just a short, gentle walk, 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. Walking after meals helps control blood sugar levels, aids digestion, and prevents the sluggishness that so many people mistake for just being old. And that brings me to a question I want you to carry with you. What if aging doesn't have to mean losing strength? What if it simply means changing how we take care of ourselves? There is nothing weak about getting older. If anything, age makes you wiser, more resilient. But your body needs to hear from you that you're still showing up, that you still care. Because every choice you make, stretching in the morning, drinking water, walking after lunch, those are all ways of telling your body, I haven't given up on you. Let's keep going. So now that we've talked about some of these powerful daily shifts, tiny things that have a big effect on your physical energy, there's something just as important we need to look at. Because a strong body without a strong mind, that's only half the picture. In the next part of this conversation, we're going to talk about mental strength, how to keep your mind just as sharp, focused, and alive as your body. Because clarity, memory, and mental engagement don't have to fade with age. In fact, with the right tools, they can actually get better. So stick with me. We've only just begun. Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went in there? Or maybe you've misplaced your keys, your glasses, or even the TV remote, only to find them later in the most obvious place. It can feel frustrating, maybe even a little scary. You might wonder, is this normal? Is my mind slipping? Let me reassure you, you're not alone. These things happen to everyone, especially as we get older. But here's the part most people don't talk about: your mind doesn't have to weaken just because your age goes up. That's a myth, a dangerous one. Because believing that lie is what actually allows the brain to slow down. Your brain is like a muscle. If you don't use it, challenge it, engage it, it begins to atrophy. But when you stimulate it regularly, you can keep it active, alert, and even rewire how it functions. Let's start with something simple but powerful: mental exercise. Just like your body benefits from movement, your brain benefits from activity. And no, I'm not talking about solving calculus problems or memorizing the dictionary. I'm talking about curiosity, challenge, fun. Have you tried a new puzzle recently? Crosswords, Sudoku, jigsaw, even word searches. These little things keep your mind on its toes. Or how about reading a new book, listening to an audiobook, or watching a documentary about something you've never explored before? Even better, what's one skill you've always wanted to learn? Maybe it's cooking a new dish, learning how to use a smartphone more confidently, or even trying your hand at painting. Every time you try something new, you create new connections in your brain, like fresh roads being paved inside your mind. These new pathways keep your memory sharper and your thoughts clearer. Now let's talk about something even more important than puzzles or books: your social life. You may not realize it, but staying connected to others is one of the most effective ways to keep your brain healthy. When you talk to someone, really talk, with laughter, memories, or sharing feelings, you're not just enjoying their company, you're also sharpening your mind. Social interaction activates areas of the brain responsible for language, memory, attention, and even emotional regulation. It keeps you grounded in the moment. It pulls you out of routine. It reminds your brain that you're part of something larger. If you've been feeling isolated, even just a little, I want you to hear this clearly. You were not meant to go through this chapter of life alone. Whether it's a phone call with an old friend, chatting with neighbors during a walk, or attending a local group at the community center, every connection matters. Even brief, simple interactions, like greeting someone at the grocery store or talking to a grandchild about their day, send a powerful message to your mind. Stay engaged, stay alive, stay connected. Now let's go a little deeper. Mental sharpness isn't just about stimulation, it's also about stillness. Surprising, right? But here's the thing: your brain is constantly taking in noise. TV, phones, worries, memories, regrets. And if you never give it a moment to rest, it starts to become overwhelmed, cluttered, scattered. Try this once a day, for just 5 minutes. Sit in silence, close your eyes, focus on your breath, let your thoughts come and go without grabbing onto them. That simple pause gives your brain the chance to reset. It clears mental fog. It brings clarity back. And don't worry if your mind wanders during those 5 minutes. That's normal. The goal isn't to stop thinking. The goal is to give yourself permission to be still, to step outside the noise, and to create space for peace to enter. Another major habit that affects your mental clarity is sleep. And I don't mean just getting hours of rest. I mean quality sleep. Deep, undisturbed sleep is when your brain does its most important maintenance work. It clears out toxins, sorts through memories, and repairs itself. Without it, everything from mood to memory starts to decline. If you've been struggling with sleep, try adjusting your evening routine. Turn off screens at least an hour before bed. Keep your room cool and dark. Avoid heavy meals late at night. Even playing calming music or reading a physical book before bed can ease your mind into rest. You don't need sleeping pills to get better sleep. Often all you need is to build an environment where your brain knows it's safe to relax. Let's take a breath here and reflect. You now know how movement fuels the body and how stimulation, connection, stillness, and sleep fuel the mind. You're not just maintaining your brain, you're strengthening it. So many people think aging is a downhill slope, but that's not your story. You're not fading, you're learning to thrive differently. And that means your next chapter isn't about decline, it's about intentional growth. And now that we've touched on the physical and mental sides of strength, there's one more part we can't ignore: your emotional health. Because even if your body is strong and your mind is sharp, if your heart feels heavy or disconnected, if you're holding on to regret or loneliness or past pain, that weight can pull everything else down with it. So in the next part of our conversation, we're going to open that door together. We'll talk about the emotional habits that can either drain your joy or restore it. You'll learn how to lift your spirit again, how to create small rituals that bring peace, and how to return to the version of yourself that feels most alive inside. You deserve more than just a long life. You deserve a full one. Let's talk about how to make that happen. Next, let me ask you something. How often do you check in with your heart, not just your body or your mind? How often do you ask yourself, how am I really feeling today? Not physically, not mentally, but emotionally. Because here's the truth, most people never say out loud, emotional health isn't just a soft side of aging, it's the foundation. You can drink all the water, stretch every day, challenge your brain with puzzles and new skills, but if you're walking around with a heavy heart, if you're carrying sadness, regret, or loneliness quietly inside, it takes a toll on your entire well-being. Aging brings change. Some of those changes are beautiful: wisdom, perspective, the ability to let go of things that once seemed important. But it also brings quieter, harder shifts. Loved ones move away. Friendships fade. The phone doesn't ring as much. The world feels faster, and you might feel like you've been left behind in it. That feeling of being invisible, of being forgotten, it chips away at you. Not all at once, but slowly in ways you might not even recognize. You stop laughing as much. You hesitate to share your thoughts. You carry burdens silently because you don't want to bother anyone. But here's what I want to say to you, and I want you to hear it clearly. Your feelings matter. Your emotions deserve attention, not dismissal. Just because the world tells you to stay strong doesn't mean you have to carry everything alone. One of the most powerful emotional habits you can build, starting today, is this: create space every morning for gratitude. Before you reach for your phone, before you turn on the TV, before the day starts pulling you in different directions, just sit quietly and name 3 things you're grateful for. It doesn't have to be deep or dramatic. It could be as simple as: the sun came out, my coffee smells good, or I have another day to try again. Gratitude doesn't erase pain, but it balances it. It reminds your heart that even when life feels uncertain, there's still beauty to be found. It retrains your mind to look for the good, even on the hardest days. And here's something else: you need joy. Not once a year, not just on birthdays or holidays. You need little sparks of joy every single day. So ask yourself, what brings me comfort? What makes me feel alive? Is it listening to your favorite song, sitting outside in the quiet with a cup of tea, watering your plants, flipping through an old photo album, watching the birds in the yard? These small acts, they matter. They aren't distractions. They are emotional vitamins. They refill what the world drains from you. This is what self-care actually looks like at your stage of life. Not luxury spa days or expensive routines, but creating little moments of calm, of light, of connection every day. And speaking of connection, let's talk about forgiveness, the heavy kind, not forgiving someone else, although that's powerful too. I'm talking about forgiving yourself. There are things you've done in life that you might wish you could take back, things you didn't say, times you reacted in ways you regret. Or maybe it's what you didn't do, paths you didn't take, dreams you left behind, relationships you didn't fight for. You've carried those thoughts for years, haven't you? But here's what I want you to know. You are not the same person you were back then. Life is not measured by the mistakes you made, but by the wisdom you gained after them. And it's okay to put the weight down now. You've done the best you could with what you had, when you had it. That's enough. Now it's time to offer yourself the same grace you so easily give to others. And while we're here, let me tell you one more truth. You don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. Not your worth, not your intelligence, not your strength. You've already earned your place in this world. Every wrinkle on your face, every scar on your heart, they're evidence that you've lived, that you've endured, and that somehow you're still here. That's not weakness, that's power. So from now on, I want you to treat yourself like someone you love. Talk to yourself kindly. Show yourself compassion. Rest when you need it. Laugh when you feel it, and allow yourself to be instead of always doing. And if you ever feel like you're carrying too much, talk to someone, a friend, a family member, a counselor. There's no shame in reaching out. In fact, it's one of the strongest things you can do, because bottling up your feelings doesn't make you strong, it makes you sick. Emotional self-care isn't selfish, it's survival. And more than that, it's what makes life worth living. Now take a deep breath. Right here, right now, you've already started healing. Just by having this conversation, you've taken the first step toward emotional freedom. And the beautiful thing, you're not too late, you're not too old, you're not behind. You're exactly where you need to be to start feeling better, living better, because there's more joy ahead, more peace, more connection. And it all starts with the habits you build today. Now that we've talked about your emotional well-being, the quiet strength inside you, it's time to talk about what comes next, your daily habits, the routines that shape how you live every single day, from what you do when you wake up, to how you move, eat, think, and rest. Because emotional health opens the door, but daily habits, they carry you through it. And in the next part, that's exactly where we're heading. So stick with me, we're just getting to the part where it all starts coming together. By now you've started to see it, your health, your energy, your sense of peace. They're not random, they're not out of your hands. They're shaped by your choices, not the big dramatic ones, but the little ones you repeat every day. Because your life, especially after 60, is built from your habits, what you do with your mornings, your afternoons, your thoughts, your body, your time. And here's the truth. I want you to really believe it's never too late to shape those habits into something that makes you stronger, not weaker. You don't need a complete lifestyle overhaul. You don't need to follow a dozen new rules. What you do need is awareness, and a willingness to trade one small harmful routine for one small helpful one. Let's start with something we often take for granted: sunlight. Getting a little bit of sun each day might sound too simple to matter, but it's one of the most powerful daily habits you can build. Just 10 to 15 minutes of sunlight in the morning does more than brighten your mood. It activates your internal clock. It helps regulate your sleep-wake cycle so you sleep better at night. It boosts vitamin D, which strengthens your bones and supports your immune system. It even reduces depression and anxiety. You don't have to walk far. You can sit on your porch, water your plants, take a stroll to the mailbox. The important thing is that you see the sky, that you let natural light touch your skin and remind your body that you're still part of the living, breathing world. Now let's pair that with something just as gentle but deeply healing: stretching. You might be surprised how much your body is asking for movement without you even realizing it. The stiffness in your back, that tightness in your hips or knees, it's not just aging, it's your muscles begging to be stretched, even a little. Spend 5 minutes every morning before breakfast, before the distractions start, just moving your body slowly. Reach up, bend side to side, rotate your wrists and ankles, gently stretch your hamstrings by bending forward. These aren't workouts, they're acts of kindness to your joints, your circulation, your spine. You'll feel lighter, more awake, more connected to your body. And here's something that people often miss: consistency beats intensity. You don't have to do 30-minute sessions. What matters more is that you do it every day. Even 2 minutes a day of gentle movement can change the way you walk, sit, and even sleep. Now let's talk about what's fueling your body. Because no matter how much you move or stretch, your energy is directly connected to what you eat. And no, I'm not going to tell you to go on some trendy diet or cut out all your favorite foods. That's not realistic, and frankly not necessary. What is necessary is awareness. What you put into your body either gives you strength or slowly drains it. One of the quietest ways we weaken ourselves after 60 is by skipping meals or relying too heavily on snacks with no real nutrition. You might not feel as hungry as you used to, but your body still needs fuel. Protein, fiber, hydrating fruits and vegetables. These aren't just about staying full, they're about staying functional. Try this habit, make lunch your strongest meal of the day. That's when your digestion is at its peak. Include a protein source: eggs, chicken, beans, fish, and something green. Even a handful of spinach or some steamed broccoli can make a big difference in your energy. And remember, healthy eating doesn't mean boring eating. Add flavor. Add herbs. Make your food something you look forward to, not something you have to choke down. Nourishing your body should feel like a gift, not a punishment. Let's shift now to another habit, one that too often gets ignored, especially later in life: mental stimulation through routine. Our minds love predictability, but they also crave newness. So here's the balance. Build small, reliable routines that anchor your day. Then add one small variation to keep things fresh. That might mean doing your stretching outside one day instead of inside, calling a friend while walking instead of sitting, reading the news out loud to engage your brain differently, or changing the order of your daily tasks just to challenge your memory a bit. You don't need to shock your system. You just need to nudge it, remind it to stay alert, stay curious, stay flexible. Now let me ask you something simple but powerful. How do you end your day? Because the way you close your evening is just as important as how you start your morning. One habit I highly recommend is what I call a gentle landing. Instead of falling asleep with the TV blaring or scrolling through your phone until your eyes hurt, create a little bedtime ritual. A warm cup of tea, a light book, soothing music, a moment of reflection where you ask, what went well today? When you teach your body to slow down before bed, you sleep more deeply. You wake up less groggy. Your mind gets a chance to process, to settle, to repair. You deserve restful sleep, not just as a biological need, but as a reward for the life you're living. And finally, above all, build one more daily habit: intention. Before you begin your day, pause and ask yourself, what kind of day do I want this to be? Not what needs to be done, not what others expect, but how you want to feel. Maybe today is a peaceful day. Maybe it's a productive one. Maybe it's a healing day, or a fun one. Naming your intention gives your mind a target. It sets the tone. It helps you stay in control, because no matter how old you are, you still have choices. You still have power, and your habits are how you use that power, quietly, consistently, confidently. So let's take a moment to recap. You've now got a handful of daily habits: sunlight, stretching, mindful eating, gentle bedtime routines, and setting intentions that can reshape how you feel every day. Not in a month, not in a year, now. And if you're thinking, this all sounds good, but what does it really mean for the road ahead? You're asking the right question. Because in our next part, we'll go even deeper. We'll talk about your future, your legacy, what comes next, and how to make it count. Not just for you, but for the people you love and the life you're still shaping every single day. Let's take that next step together. Let's pause for a moment and look ahead, not in fear, but in power, not in anxiety, but with intention. Have you ever sat quietly and asked yourself, what do I want the rest of my life to feel like? Not just what you need to do tomorrow, or what the calendar says next week, but the bigger picture. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? What kind of peace do you want to carry forward? Because here's the truth that many people overlook: until it's too late, the future doesn't shape itself. It responds to your direction, your intention, your decisions today. And no matter what's behind you, you still have a say in what's ahead. Planning for your future isn't about being obsessed with control. It's about giving yourself the peace of mind that comes when you know you've prepared, when you know your time, your energy, your resources, and your story have purpose, not just today, but far beyond. Let's start with something deeply personal, your joy. Ask yourself, what brings me joy right now? What lights me up, even a little? It might be gardening, volunteering, cooking, writing, talking with grandkids, traveling, playing music, reconnecting with an old friend. The truth is, many people push their joy aside as they age. They convince themselves that pleasure, adventure, or fun is for younger people. But that belief is one of the biggest thieves of happiness in later life. Because joy is not optional. It's essential to a fulfilling future. So start small. Pick one thing that makes you smile, and weave it into your week, like a thread of color through a gray sky. Let it remind you that this chapter of your life isn't just about maintenance, it's about meaning. Next, let's talk about relationships. The older we get, the more we realize it's not the money, the titles, or the possessions that matter most. It's the people, the phone calls, the laughter, the shared memories, the forgiveness we gave or didn't. So take inventory. Who matters to you? Who do you miss? Who have you been meaning to call, to visit, to forgive, or to thank? Don't wait for the right moment. Sometimes, the right moment is right now. That message you send today could mend a relationship that's been quiet for years. That visit you make this weekend could become a memory that someone else cherishes for the rest of their life. And while we're talking about connection, there's something else that needs your attention, your voice. What are the lessons you've learned that others need to hear? What wisdom are you carrying that your children, grandchildren, or even your community could benefit from? Your story matters. Your voice matters. And if you don't share it, who will? Write down a few things you want others to remember. Maybe it's the values you lived by. Maybe it's the hardest thing you ever overcame. Maybe it's your recipe for strength, your view of love, your definition of a good life. These aren't just memories. They're legacy. They're the pieces of you that outlive you and become part of someone else's compass. Now let's take a moment to talk about something many avoid: financial clarity. This isn't about fear. It's about freedom. When your finances are in order, when you've made a plan, even a simple one, it creates a sense of calm. You don't lie awake at night wondering if you've forgotten something important. You don't stress over the unexpected. Start with what you already know: your basic monthly costs, your savings, your income. Then ask yourself, is there anything I need to adjust? Maybe it's reviewing your will. Maybe it's creating a basic budget. Maybe it's writing down where important papers are kept, so your loved ones won't have to guess. You don't need to have a fortune to plan wisely. Even small steps create big relief. And speaking of planning, have you thought about the gifts you want to leave behind? Not just financially, but emotionally. Maybe it's a journal you write in each week for your grandchild. Maybe it's a photo album with handwritten notes. Maybe it's a letter to someone who's always made you proud, but you've never told them in those exact words. These gestures, these simple heartfelt acts, are more powerful than anything money can buy, because they speak the deepest truth: you were here, and you cared. Let's also talk about your purpose going forward. Purpose doesn't retire, and it doesn't fade just because the world gets quieter. You're still here for a reason. You still have something to offer. Maybe your purpose is to teach, to nurture, to share. Maybe it's to bring peace to your family. Maybe it's to rediscover your creativity. Or maybe it's just to live with grace, showing the world what strength looks like in its purest form. Every morning you wake up, you still have time to build that purpose brick by brick. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be yours. So now, let's put it all together. You've spent time caring for your body, for your mind, for your heart, and now, you've taken a step back to think about the long view, your future, your meaning, your legacy. And with all of that, I want to leave you with a powerful reminder. You still get to live fully right now. The most dangerous lie is the one that tells you life has already happened, that the best years are behind you, that everything from here on out is just about coasting or surviving. Don't believe that lie. Your future is still unfolding. Every conversation you have, every choice you make, every laugh you share, it adds to your legacy. It creates ripples in lives you may never even see. So now that you've looked back with wisdom and looked forward with clarity, let's come back to this moment right now. Because in the final part of our conversation, we'll talk about how to live fully in the present. Because this moment, this day is your realest power, and when you claim it, everything changes. Take a breath with me, right now. Deep in and out. You've come so far in this journey, not just through this conversation, but through life itself. You've weathered storms. You've celebrated joys. You've made mistakes. You've found strength. And now here you are, still standing, still breathing, still capable of change. So let's talk about this moment, not yesterday, not next year, right now. You see, after a certain age, people start to drift into two groups. The first group spends most of their time looking backward, regret, nostalgia, memories they wish they could hold on to. The second group is always looking forward, worrying about what's next, afraid of what's coming, waiting for the other shoe to drop. But there's a third way, and it's the most powerful one. That way is learning how to live right here, in the present. Not distracted, not anxious, not stuck in the past or fearing the future, just present. Because this moment, right now, is the only one that's real, and it's the only one where you can actually make a difference. Let me ask you, when was the last time you looked around your room and really saw it? Not just glanced at it, but noticed the way the light lands on the wall, or how quiet it gets in the afternoon. When was the last time you felt fully awake in a conversation, not thinking about what to say next or what's on your to-do list, but truly listening? So many of us rush through life out of habit. Even in retirement, we carry this pressure to stay productive, to stay busy. But living fully isn't about busyness, it's about awareness. Here's one simple way to practice it. The next time you eat a meal, do it slowly. No phone, no television, just the food, your breath, and the moment. Taste each bite, notice how your body feels. Give thanks, not just out of routine, but from your heart, because presence turns the ordinary into something sacred. Another powerful habit, walking without distraction. No headphones, no calls, just you and the world around you. Feel your feet hitting the ground. Notice the trees, the wind, the colors. You'll be amazed how much beauty is waiting for you when your attention is truly there. And when you find yourself drifting into worry, because that happens to all of us, ask yourself this: is it happening now, or is it just a thought about what could happen? That question can pull you right back into the now. You have more control than you think, not over everything, but over this moment. And moment by moment, that's how a peaceful life is built. Now let's talk about something that doesn't get enough credit in our world: celebrating small wins. You don't need to run marathons to be proud of yourself. You don't need to change the world to feel valuable. Did you stretch today? That's a win. Did you call someone you care about? That's a win. Did you drink more water, get some sun, or rest when you were tired? All wins. Too often we wait for big moments to feel good, but life is made up of small moments. And when you start honoring those, your entire mindset changes. You stop chasing a perfect life and start living a present one. Another key to staying grounded in the present is something we talked about earlier, but deserves to be repeated here: intention. Every morning, ask yourself, what do I want to experience today? Maybe it's peace, maybe it's laughter, maybe it's connection. Don't just let the day happen to you. Show up for it with purpose. Choose a focus. It will shift the way you move through every hour. And if the day goes sideways, as they sometimes do, that's okay too. You can always pause, reset, begin again. One moment is all it takes to return to yourself. Now there's one more piece I want to leave with you, maybe the most important one of all. You are still becoming. You are not finished. You are not stuck. You are not too late. You are still growing, still learning, still shaping your identity, your story, your experience. Life is not just behind you, it's with you, right now. You may not move as quickly as you once did. Your face may have more lines, your bones may ache, but your spirit is still alive. Your presence still matters. Your choices still ripple out into the world. And I want you to remember this always. Your life still holds impact. Every kind word you say, every smile you give, every moment of attention you offer to someone else, that changes things, that means something. So live like it matters, because it does. Let this next chapter of your life be the one where you finally stop rushing, where you stop waiting for permission, where you stop minimizing yourself. Let it be the chapter where you rise with grace, where you walk with peace, where you speak with wisdom, where you rest with joy, where you live fully, present, awake, and proud of the life you're building, moment by moment. And as we wrap up this conversation, I want to invite you into something simple and meaningful. Take a moment right now and leave a comment below. What is one thing you're going to do today just for yourself? Maybe it's a walk, a stretch, a call to someone you love, or just 5 minutes of sitting still, breathing deeply. Whatever it is, say it out loud, write it, claim it. Because when you declare your intention, you begin to shape your reality. And if this video helped you, inspired you, or made you feel seen, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might need it too. You never know whose life you'll touch just by pressing send. Remember, your strength is still growing, your story is still unfolding, and your presence right here and now is the most powerful gift of all. So keep showing up, keep choosing life, keep choosing you, because you're not done, you're just getting started.